Okay, guys, before we get to NXT, this is the second time I've done this video because I want to make this as quick as possible because this upset me. I know this is a channel that does wrestling reviews, but once in a while I do bring in life outside of wrestling on this channel once in a while. And it badly upset me. With my depression and anxiety, I want to say something outward about it. Of course, this is not saying you guys are bad. It ain't, but I have to say this. I just found out after I just seen NXT. I'd heard something about it, but I didn't know much. And today, a 4-year-old child just been buried due to the fact the parents starved the kid. This is in New York, in my neck of the woods, and parents starved the kid. Look, I'm going to say this short. I'm not saying that I was the greatest dad or the greatest husband. I made mistakes. I never cheated on my wife. I didn't. I never hit my wife. I never beat her, but we just never worked. But I always made sure I gave her at least respect. And I always let my son know I loved him and did everything I could to take care of him. And I'm just saying this for anyone who has kids. Love your kids. I'm not saying you're bad parents. I'm not saying none of that. But after what I just understood, it is upsetting for me. So just love your kids, okay? I'm sorry I brought this in, but I had to. It was upsetting. It was irking me. Now, let's get to the real stuff here. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of what we just got on this NXT show. Set up for... it was so blatant that this is being set up for the ECW arena. This is going to be set up for the ECW show. What we got here was a setup for ECW. Everything there is a setup for ECW. How the characters have been acting, the matches themselves, and the fights that's been going on. What do we get in the casket match between Wendy Choo and Tatum Paxley? It was pretty good. Not going to tell you it was great, but it was pretty good. But as you see that, and I'm being honest here, I knew when you looked at Wendy after Bound for Glory, she's done. There was very little possibility that she and Rosemary are going to be doing anything together. I think they finally finished it. Unless they are going to do something for Final Resolution, it is over between Rosemary and Wendy. And when you see Wendy Choo, who's now been finished with Rosemary, you get this match. And I knew Tatum's not going to lose this. And the match was good, but Tatum won. She was thrown in the casket. And I got to say that it wasn't a bad match. And seeing that both Tatum and Wendy were in the casket at one point, seeing that Tatum finally beat her, put her into the casket, I was not surprised. It was not a surprise. I'm telling you right now. Next, the Heritage Cup. The Charlie Dempsey versus the thing that got me confused was Lexis King dealing with William Regal and William Regal not confronting his son, Charlie Dempsey. That was the only thing. The confronting of Charlie and Regal. I don't know why they didn't do that. We all know William is Charlie Dempsey's dad. They already did a segment months ago where Charlie was facing his dad when he won that Heritage Cup the first time. I wish they had done something because I didn't see nothing of Charlie facing his dad from last week when he went and talked to Lexis King. I wish he had talked to him, at least saying something, saying, "You're going to help him?" Say he needs it. Let's see how good you are. I'm going to be in this corner. Because when you see what happened to William after the first match, well, round 1, Lexis King lost. Round 2, Lexis King was thrown off the ring skirt and supposedly jammed his left knee. And he spent the third match and the second trying to struggle with it. And at one point, we get William Regal pulling out some brass knucks, willing to give it to Lexis King in the hopes of him winning. And he says, "No, I don't want to be like my dad." And he gets beaten by Charlie Dempsey. And after that, he's facing William Regal, saying, "You should have did it." That was William. He's trying to make him understand there was a method behind his dad's madness when it comes to Brian Pillman. You could say a lot, But there was a method behind Brian Pillman being a nut. That's what he's trying to say. He had something, but he doesn't want to embrace it. But I truly believe that it would have been good. Maybe next week, when we go to ECW Arena, you will see Charlie Dempsey facing William. And they will be talking about, I saw what you did. Brass knucks given to him to take me out. He says, look, son. And he puts his hand on his shoulder. That's what I'm hoping. You gotta understand. You're gonna always have an enemy. Even if it's your own damn old man. And walks away. I'm hoping that'll happen next week, but there's no guarantee. Next, we got Reese versus Zaya. Wait a minute. Zaria. All right, that's it. Zaria. Let me give it to you like this. Did Brittany sell her arm getting super hyper extended? Yes. Did Zaria look dominant? Yes. But do I care? Hell freaking no. You know why? Because we have how many women now that just came in with no build-up, no setup, nothing. We got Julia. We got Stephanie Vaquer, and now we got this woman. There's no setup for any of them. They're just like what happened in AEW. You're literally seeing 3 women who have come in like gangbusters with no substance. It's not the point of their ring work. If anybody says you need to look at Zaria, you need to look at Stephanie Vaquer, you need to look at like Julia, they're all great. Who gives a fuck how great they are in the ring? What's gonna make them mean something to people who loves WWE or TKO WWE, which it is now, is not just about the ring ability. It's about the character development. And you just did all this. And then, after she had a match, what did we get? The North American champion along with her entourage, and that is Fallon Henley. And then the champion along with her entourage of Cora Jade all coming out, making sure Zaira understands who's in charge. And then what happens? They're ready to beat her up. We get a Kiani Jordan coming out who just lost her championship. And then we get Stephanie as well as Julia coming out. They're 4-on-5. They're saying we like those odds. And then we get the returning Jordan Grace. And I did check to see if Jordan might have jumped ship. She has not. Just in case anybody says, oh, Jordan's going to jump ship. No, there's nothing on any of the sites right now. That's the reason why this is a little late getting uploaded. I checked. I went to 6 different sites for wrestling. No one's talking about her jumping ship from TNA. She's probably going to do a couple of matches, maybe just one match in the 2300 arena where she's been more than a few times because TNA has gone there. She's just doing something she's done before. But a big fight breaks out, and now we're going to have a 10-woman tag. I'm sorry to say 10-man tag. 10-woman tag in the 2300 arena to set up for next week. But then Zaira, Julia, and Stephanie have what behind them? Why are they trying to put all 3 of these women in a situation where they have not had any character development? When it came to Asuka, she had nearly a year or 2-year run in in NXT. They made sure Athena looked dominant before they did anything very substantial in a big group. We got 3 new women who just came in within less than a month. And now they're throwing them all at this with no stories and no character development behind them other than they just want to have a match at the 2300 arena. This is garbage. Next, we got Nikita Lyons versus Kiani Jordan. Let me give it to you like this. Do I like Nikita Lyons? Yes. I always liked Nikita. I always thought that she was interesting. It's not because she has big pair of butt or big boobs or blonde. She's always shown herself to be a martial artist. What did she do when she went into the ring with Kiana Jordan? She's using nunchakus or nunchucks. The girl knows how to do martial arts. Yeah, she's a wrestler, but she knows martial arts. The girl knows how to use nunchakus. She didn't knock her head off or something, or knock herself in between her legs or her boobs or anything. The girl knows what she's doing. And I always thought she talked well. She did have a very good look. Her name is very interesting. And I always thought eventually, once she came back from injury, they would move her to the main roster because she's been there long enough that she could move to the main roster because she only polished very well, but she didn't have no real good storylines to go with her ability to talk, her ring work, which is not bad, and her look. We get this match where she's much more aggressive, but then, nearing the end of the match, we get Rizzo coming out and goes after Nikita, and then you see that Kiana is saying, "What are you doing?" She says, "This is the one who attacked me." And now we get this, where there could be a match next week or going forward. So I could say it could be good, but I just don't know because it's going to count on how they're going to book Nikita and how they're going to book Rizzo. Next. What can I say about the segments we got from, I'm calling him Bully Ray because I like Bully Ray more than Bubba. Bully Ray with the Trick Williams and Bully Ray when it came to Ethan and Ridge Holland. I liked the second segment better than the first. Not saying that it was bad when he was dealing with Trick Williams and talking about he saw something in Trick. He wondered why Trick was being attacked, but he explained that Trick has that title on him and that he is going to always have a target in the show. You got to grow eyes in the back of your head. And then Trick wants revenge. He knows Bully wants revenge. And he says flat out, "Look, I need a partner for next week because I want revenge. Will you be the partner?" Bully's supposed to be getting hyped up, but he says no because this should go to a spot from the spot you're asking me to be in should be from somebody from your own roster. I am not taking the spot from anybody. But I knew they were going to have to do a segment to get Bubba Bully to be at the 2300 arena. So that's when the second segment happened, which I found to be more effective. He partially puts over Ridge Holland. He basically bitch slaps a Ethan Page saying, "You don't deserve anything. Get out of my way." He doesn't say it directly, but that's what he said. "Get the fuck out of my way. You don't deserve a damn thing. You had your shots." But he talks about Ridge, and pretty much fight breaks out. You get you literally get the Trick coming out, helping out, and then he asks, do you still want a partner? And then he's doing the Predator handshake like this. They're showing their muscles, showing the Predator handshake. Guys, this was the setup for the 2300 arena. Was it done effectively? In the first segment, it felt clunky. The second segment felt better. Now, finally, what did we get from the tag team of... Since I was sick, because you still see I cough on and off, I did not see what was going on between Devon Evans and Wesley. I didn't see what was going on between them, so I don't know what happened. But during this match that Evans had with Cedric Alexander and the tag champs, which was a good match, I think, if I got to be honest, this is the best match of the night. We get Wes coming out, and then we see Devon Evans bailing on a Cedric Alexander because he wanted to beat the crap out of Wes Lee. And, excuse me, then the tag champs win. Now, mind you, you can see there's still friction between Frazier and Axiom. They're still winning. Frazier's still acting like a hothead. So there's still a question of how long they're going to keep these two together because it's obvious they're teasing they're going to break up. And sooner or later, one of these guys is going to possibly turn heel. It's possible Frazier will turn heel on Axiom and then beat the living shit out of him and they're going to have a feud together. There's a possibility of that. But it's still far off. I don't think they're going to do it right now. Maybe next year they will. But what did we really get? And I know I'm glazing over what happened with Rhea Ripley, who talked to the women's roster when You see all the women there, including a Jordan Grace, and then you see Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan with bats. Looked like she got her ass beat. I know I could include that, but unless she's going to have a match at the 2300 Arena, this is more about the main roster, not about NXT. Even though she did show up, and that's Rhea Ripley, to talk to Zara, I believe Zara, just to see her because they're both Australian and she knew about her. It's just, there's no point in caring about that because that's more about setting up what's going to happen at Crown Jewel, because Crown Jewel is coming next week. This weekend, I mean, not next week, this weekend. So, was this a good setup for the 2300 Arena? It wasn't bad, but that's what it was. But do I agree with most of what's going on? No, I just don't. I don't agree. But it is what it is. Now that the main roster, understand, it's not HBK anymore. It's Triple H and HBK. It used to be, and understand, people started liking NXT not because Triple H was running it. It was HBK running it. Taking, like I said, a little bit of Vince back in the 90s during the Attitude Era. A little bit of Triple H with Black and Gold and his own way of booking. That is what made people begin to really like NXT. It was his booking. But now it's obvious. You can see the booking is different now. You can see 100% this isn't the booking from HBK. It is HBK with more influence from Triple H because he wants to make this uniform. And many people will say, well, that's good. We get uniformity from Raw, SmackDown, and now NXT. No. There's a reason why NXT, when it was Black and Gold, when it was 2.50, was different. Guys, no matter how much you may not like NXT, and I've had my qualms over the years, I've always said, you look at HBK. He may not be the best booker, but he did 101 booking. It wasn't always perfect. There was times it just looked stupid. Sometimes it looked like it was lacking or rushed due to the fact that I'm having a schedule. I'm always doing PLEs and always trying to help the main roster out because some cases they want to bring someone from the main roster down to revitalize them and then throw them back up to the main roster. When you look at it, it was HBK, it was Shawn Michaels booking. Now it's Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and I don't like it. I'd rather have them separate because if you book someone very well with Shawn Michaels, the only thing Triple H has to do is just take what he produced and put it onto the main roster when he has space for the people and when he can book for them. There's no problem with that. But now that Triple H has become more apparent in the booking, that's gone. And now it's almost all uniform. Sometimes they'll have their moments, and I'm sure HBK can do it, but honestly, this isn't looking well for NXT or the main roster for that matter. You can see, and you got to understand, guys, when you look at TKO in a whole, this is going to be uniform. This is going to be whatever can make money. Now, wrestling promotions have always done that, but they always made sure whatever they made money, they made sure to make it not about entertaining, but about making it relevant. I've always stated this on this channel for years. What wrestlers don't want is just a big payday. They want relevancy, not just to the peers, but also to the fans. And I'm worried that TKO WWE is not being relevant with the rest of their talent. Oh, they'll make sure everybody else that they care about, like a Cody Rhodes, like a Roman Reigns, like a Rock, like a Randy Orton, and other people that are heavily established. But when it comes to the others, relevancy is important. Even if they don't get up on the card up here, you can have relevancy anywhere in the card and people will care about you. That's what makes wrestling important. Not seeing that. I'm getting worried that they're finally doing exactly what I thought. As I told you, this is about Ari making it as strong as possible, making money. He's not going to care if the product becomes boring as long as the money comes in. He'll be more ruthless than Vince McMahon will. But that's just me. Peace.